Before all of that, we're going to start with Wilfried Zaha. Now, his contract expires at midnight tonight with plenty of uncertainty surrounding his future. There's still a 4-year contract on the table at Crystal Palace, but Zaha himself is still undecided on what's next for him. He spoke to talkSPORT's Darren Ambrose about the legacy he's leaving at Selhurst Park.
I just want to be remembered as someone that was passionate, loved the club, and just gave 110% every time I stepped out onto the pitch. I feel like that's just me in a nutshell, passionate. And so, yeah, that's what I want to be remembered as. When Wolf went out there, you know what you got with Wolf.
So it's great that, by the way, that Darren Ambrose can get that close to him. I don't really hear Wilf Zaha talk to that many
Never.
people.
He came on the boot room when I was on there, but again, down to Ambrose.
Yeah, that's great. So what's going to happen with Wilf Zaha? What do you think his plan is? So supposedly he's got this 4-year deal on the table with Crystal Palace. His contract expires tonight at midnight, so he can talk to anyone and go anywhere. What do you think his plan is? He's obviously got one, right?
I think he's got an idea of what he wants, but I mean, ideally, I'm sure he'd like to be in the Champions League, and at the end, I'll say it, there's a few teams I think he could go to.
Yeah.
But what he's given to Crystal Palace, I mean, 458 appearances, 90 goals. I would have expected that to be a bit higher.
Say that again, 450 and 90.
Yeah.
It's about 1 in 4, right? Give or take.
And in the Premier League, he's got 305 appearances, and he's got 68 goals and 29 assists.
But he's not always playing. He's very rarely playing down the middle.
No, but
he's always
assists
out wide.
29. I thought he'd have more than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you talk about a guy who's been, ever since he put on that Crystal Palace shirt, he's given them absolutely everything they could ever ask for. His best season, 14 Premier League goals back in 2021. 27 appearances last season. Injury didn't play its part, which is why he only got 7. But I almost felt like we saw what Crystal Palace could be if he moved on. Because I think when he was out, I thought you saw the likes of Elise and Eza really step up. And certainly Eza, he stepped up and really carried the load. He wanted to be that main man. So I think Palace got a glimpse of what it could be like week in, week out without him. But listen, he's been a fantastic servant. I think there's only a handful of clubs that he could go to though. So I've got a few down here, right? Do you want to read yours or you read yours first? I've got Aston Villa.
I've got Aston Villa.
Could be one. I've gone Chelsea, but the only reason I've said I've got Chelsea maybe question mark. They've got Nkunku who can play on that left hand side, so maybe they don't need someone to play on that left. And I think their priority is getting a centre forward in, although he can play down the middle.
I don't think.
But
okay.
I put him on the list. Remember, he's free.
Yeah, I know. But it's still going to cost you 200 grand a week wages.
Newcastle.
Oh, I've got Newcastle down.
I've got Spurs.
Yeah, I've got them as well.
Yeah, they're the teams in the Premier League. I did put West Ham on there, and I just thought...
Well, they've got Europa League football.
That's what I thought. They're in Europe, but Wilfried Zaha want to leave Crystal Palace to go to West Ham, who... I know they won the Conference League last year.
Yeah.
Just about survived in the Premier League. Would he see that as a step up or a step backwards or just a fresh challenge? But they were
Palace
somebody...
to West Ham is probably a sideways step.
That's the thing.
But you've got European football. Yeah. And I imagine Palace are going to bring in a few big heads or a few new faces at least.
Exactly. So they're the clubs. I looked at elsewhere. Arsenal, no. I think that time's passed. Manchester City, no. United, no. Rashford.
You mentioned Spurs, right? They would have, if you did that, they've got Richarlison, they've got Kane, they've got Son. You stick Zaha, they've got Kulusevski as well.
Yeah, you go.
That's a lot of players to fit into those 3 positions.
It is, but then you look at last season. How many of them performed? Only Kane.
Yeah,
Son was way off it.
Yeah.
Kulusevski didn't really play. Richarlison got opportunities but didn't take them.
Do you see Zaha linking up well with James Maddison then?
Yeah, that's another thing. But then I think that'd be quite exciting. I know that Postecoglou would have to figure out which the best 3 is. But if you've got Zaha on a free and James Maddison for 40 million, I think that's 2 good players. That makes Spurs stronger, no?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Let me ask Brian Ryan, who's a Liverpool fan in the creche. Would you take Zaha at Liverpool, at your club? Don't need him.
No, they're fully stocked. You think what they got?
What? You could play him down the middle. Bobby Firmino's off, right?
Yeah, but they've got Gakpo plays down the middle. You've got Nunes really plays down the middle.
Yeah, okay.
You've got Luis Diaz. You've got Jota there. You've got Kay Gordon, who's a youngster. You've got
true.
Harvey Elliott can play out wide. There's loads of them.
Okay. I'm going to ask the question, do you want him at your club? Do you reckon everyone will phone up, apart from maybe a few of the big heads like Man City don't need him?
Yeah, Man City just don't need him at all.
No.
They are stacked up top.
Yeah, they don't need a player like that.
No.
Would you have him at Arsenal?
I wouldn't. I think his time's passed. The time we should have got him...
He's only 30, Benny.
Yeah, no, but look at what he's doing at Arteta. He's not signing 30... Well, I say that.
But that's his thing, though, isn't it? He's not going to sign players over 30.
Exactly. I get
supposedly.
that, but no. I just don't think... I think when we signed Pepe, that was the time to get Zaha.
Pepe, 72 million.
Yeah,
maybe.
we could have got Zaha, I think it was 60 or 50.
Yeah, nuts. I think Spurs were interested in about 3 years ago, and he was priced at 90 million, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or was it your club 90 million? It was either one of them,
Yeah.
but priced out the market.
Well, no, there's definitely a home for him. But you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if he signs a new contract.
Well, bizarrely, Lazio are heavily linked to
I don't get it.
Well, I don't know why you'd want to go A, to Lazio, B, to a country where...
Racism is rife.
Yeah, I don't see that as a good move
I
for
can't
him.
see him doing that either.
No. I'd like to see him in the Premier League still.
Yeah.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.